Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, going to be talking through some MLB player props I like on Prizepicks for Monday, June the 27th. We do have a decent sized Monday slate, 9 games tonight. Prizepicks has already posted their full pitcher board for Monday. I'm recording this video late Sunday night. Wanted to go ahead and get it up for you guys. So I was able to find 3 props that I liked. Taking a first look at the board. Mainly going to talk about pitcher props. That's usually what I focus on, just because I think pitcher props are a little bit easier to predict. It's a little bit harder to predict, hitter performances. Hitter performances can always be very variant. They can always be random. Whereas pitchers, when a pitcher gets a good matchup, normally you can kind of predict how they're going to perform. So we'll talk through 3 props I like for today. All 3 props I like are going to be pitcher fantasy scores. Before we get started though, guys, talking through our plays for today, we can recap our plays from our last video, which was on Saturday. That was when I last made a video. Saturday was not a good day for us, honestly. We gave out 3 plays on Saturday, and we only went 1 and 2. So that's our second losing day in MLB. Every other day, I think we've had a couple 1 and 2 days. We went 1 and 2 on Saturday. I think we went 1 and 2 on like Wednesday and Thursday of last week, one of those days. Every other day though in the MLB, we've gone 2 and 1 or better. So it's still been a fairly good MLB season. I know Saturday was not the best. We did hit the over on Max Fried's strikeouts. We took over 5 strikeouts for Fried. He had a great game, even against the Dodgers. Got 9 strikeouts. But the 2 plays that did not hit were the over for Zach Davies' fantasy points. Like that matchup a lot for Davies against the Tigers, and he just didn't pitch that well. Had a pretty mediocre game. I think he went like 5 innings, gave up like 3 runs, only got like 3 or 4 strikeouts. He finished with just 15 fantasy points, and we needed 26 from him. He also got pulled kind of early in that game. He got pulled with like 75 pitches, which was a little weird. But he didn't come through for us. And then we took the under on Josh Winkowski's fantasy points in a tough matchup against against the Guardians. And he pitched solid. I mean, he went 5 innings, gave up 2 runs, got 4 strikeouts, finished with 21 fantasy points, but he also got the win. So he actually finished with 28 fantasy points because he got the win. I did not expect him to get the win going up against Shane Bieber. I thought Shane Bieber would be able to limit the Red Sox and they wouldn't be able to put up many runs, but Winkowski got the win, went 5 innings, had 28 fantasy points, and we need under 24.5. So that also missed. Again, just 1 and 2 on Saturday was not the best day for us, but I'm hoping that start of a new week we can get some wins today, close out the month strong. But we'll talk through our 3 plays for today, guys. Just before we do, hit that like button. As always, appreciate you guys checking out these videos every day. Hit that subscribe button as well if you have not yet, and also make sure to check out Prizepicks. Sign up for Prizepicks and use promo code Noah. Prizepicks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And you can take a look at all the props that Prizepicks has available. They offer a ton of props in the MLB. They offer a ton of other props outside of just MLB. Prizepicks offers a lot of other sports. You can mix and match sports. You can do multi-sport entries. It's a ton of fun. I highly recommend you guys get over there. Make sure when you sign up for Prizepicks, you do use that code Noah. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100. Basically, they will double your first deposit. But let's talk through our plays for today for Monday's slate. We're going to start off again the pitcher fantasy score category. All my props that I like for today are going to be pitcher fantasy scores. First one that I like really stood out to me at first look. We're going to be taking the over 33.5 pitcher fantasy score for Jordan Montgomery. And this is all a matchup play for me. Jordan Montgomery gets to face the Athletics today. And the Athletics probably, without a doubt, are one of the worst teams in the majors. I mean, they're just not a good offense. If you look at their implied run total for today, they have just a 3.2 implied run total, which I do believe is the lowest on the slate out of all the 9 games for today. Yeah, that's the lowest on the slate is the Athletics, 3.2 implied run total. The Yankees are heavy favorites here as well, minus 304 favorites, which is good for Montgomery. When you're taking pitcher fantasy score props, you want your pitcher to be able to get a win. And I think Montgomery, the Yankees hopefully can give Montgomery some run support. They should be able to, knock Paul Blackburn around, get some runs scored, give Montgomery some run support, and he should be able to get a win. I would think he should be able to pitch deep enough to get a quality start. I don't really expect this Athletics team to rough him up much. I mean, the Athletics so far this year versus left-handed pitching, they've not been very good. I mean, when you look at their strikeout rate, they are a team that will strike out. They're top 10 in K rate this year versus lefties, 23% strikeout rate. And then when you look at like their offensive categories, batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, all that, they're towards the bottom. I mean, batting average, they have the 3rd worst batting average versus lefties this year. On-base percentage, they have the 3rd worst on-base percentage. Slugging, they have the 3rd worst slugging. OPS, 3rd worst in that category as well. Every other category, ISO, BABIP, I mean, they're towards the bottom. They're bottom 10 in basically every offensive metric versus left-handed pitching this season. And they are a team that will strike out as well. Now, Montgomery this season, he's not a great strikeout pitcher by any means. He has just an 18% K rate this year. But this is definitely a matchup where he can get some Ks. I think his K prop for today is 5. I think he probably does get like 4 or 5 strikeouts. Hopefully he can get a quality start. Again, with the Athletics having just a 3.2 implied run total, this is not, Vegas is not really expecting them to score many runs, and I don't think this is a spot where they will score many runs. They are playing in a good hitter's park in Yankee Stadium, but this offense is just not one you're scared of. The Athletics just don't have a lot of good hitters. They're just not a good team in general. Hopefully Montgomery gets a quality start here, probably gets a win as well, can get, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts against this A's team. I see him getting 34 fantasy points today. I think he has a lot of pass to going over 34 or going over his fantasy score. He could pitch deep into the game, just generate a lot of soft contact. He could get some strikeouts because this Oakland team will strike out. He should be able to get a win. I think a quality start is pretty likely as well. I like this one quite a bit. It's going to be our first play for today, over 33.5 pitcher fantasy score for Jordan Montgomery. And then second play, this pitcher, he's not been very good this year, but I'm just going to play for the matchup here, and I like the over 23.5 fantasy score for Eric Fede. So, again, Eric Fede, he's by no means a great pitcher. When you look at his stats this year on Baseball Savant, it's a lot of blue, and blue is not good. You want to see red, and, there's not much red for Eric Fede. His hard hit rate, his expected batting average, expected ERA, they're all about, middle of the pack average. Hard hit rate's a little bit less than average. Chase rate, whip percentage, he doesn't really get a ton of strikeouts. But again, this is just a matchup where he should be able to get 24 fantasy points. He should be able to grind his way to 24 fantasy points. If he gets a quality start, that's like 22 fantasy points right there, assuming he, matches his earned runs with strikeouts. And against this Pirates team, he should be able to get some strikeouts, because if you look at where the Pirates rank this year versus right-handed pitching, they have the second highest strikeout rate, 25.4% K rate this year versus righties. And if you look at where they rank offensively, their offensive metrics, batting average, they're bottom 10 in batting average, 4th worst batting average versus right-handed pitching. On base percentage, they're bottom 10 in that category as well. Slugging, they're bottom 10 there. OPS, they're 28th. Any metric you look at, ISO, WRC plus, the Pirates are going to be towards the bottom. They're not a good offense. They don't really have that great of a lineup. They have some good hitters, like at the top of that lineup. They got Brian Reynolds, Cabrian Hayes, O'Neal Cruz. They're young rookie. They're call up. He's been playing well. Once you get past the top of that Pirates lineup, there's a lot of easy outs. A lot of guys you're just not that scared of. And this is definitely a team that will strike out too. By no means am I expecting Eric Fede to go out there and pitch 8 innings, get 12 strikeouts. We don't need him to do that. If Eric Fede goes 6 innings, gets a quality start, maybe gives up a few runs, maybe gets a few strikeouts, possibly gets a win, easy path to 24 fantasy points here. I know the projection's low for a reason, because Fede's not that good of a pitcher, but I think this line is too low for the matchup. I feel like in this matchup, his projection should be, maybe 25.5, 26.5. And I definitely like his chances of going over this fantasy score. I think if he gets us a quality start, which he probably will against this Pirates team, he's likely to go over that fantasy score line. So that's the second prop that I like for today, taking the over 23.5 pitcher fantasy score for Eric Fede. And then our third and final prop, going to one of the late night games. I like this one quite a bit. We're going to be taking the over 33.5 pitcher fantasy score for Lucas Giolito. Lucas Giolito, so far this year, he's not been as good this season as he has been in previous seasons. He's been getting hit pretty hard this year. Been giving up a lot of hard contacts. Where he ranks in hard hit percentage is not good. His expected WOBA, or his average exit velocity, expected ERA, batting average, slugging, they're not great. You can see where he ranks in terms of WOBA. He's given up a 384 WOBA this year, which is bottom 6% in the league. He's given up a 47% hard hit rate, which is bottom 6th in the league as well. He has not been pitching as well this season as he has in previous seasons, but this is another scenario where I'm just going to play for the matchup. The Angels, so far this year, they're another team. Offensively, they're a solid lineup. They rank about middle of the pack in terms of batting average and all those offensive metrics. They rank 20th in batting average, on base percentage. The Angels rank, they're 18th. They're about middle of the pack in those categories, but this is a team that will strike out a lot. If you do look at where they rank in terms of strikeout rate, 26.1% K rate this year versus righties, which does lead the league. It's the highest K rate in the MLB. They have a lot of dangerous hitters. By no means am I saying this is a cupcake matchup for Giolito. Mike Trout's a great hitter. Shohei Ohtani's a great hitter. Taylor Ward's had a solid season. But after you get past the top of the lineup, there are definitely some easy outs in this Angels lineup, and there are, again, plenty of guys that will strike out. Like even Mike Trout, even though he's having a great year this year and he's doing Mike Trout things, he's been striking out a lot. Mike Trout has a K rate like almost, I think he has like a 30% strikeout rate this season. A lot of these guys, like I know Brandon Marsh has a really high K rate this year. I think there's another guy in the lineup, I can't remember who it is, that has a really high K rate. So there's definitely some strikeouts in this lineup. Giolito, even though he's been getting hit pretty hard this year, he's still been able to get a decent amount of strikeouts. He's got a 27% K rate, which isn't too far off of what he's had in previous seasons. I think this is a spot where Giolito could get a quality start. Maybe he gives up 2 or 3 runs, but I think he'll be able to go 6 innings, probably rack up 6-7 strikeouts. I was looking at his K prop for today. His K prop right now is currently set at 7. I think that's pretty accurate. Like if his K prop was 6.5, I think I would have took that maybe over fantasy score, just because I think there's a good chance he does get 7 strikeouts and kind of pushes that line. You could take his over in strikeouts just because it is such a good strikeout matchup. But I have a good feeling that if Giolito, if he gets 7 or more Ks, he's probably going to go over his fantasy score as well. I have a hard time seeing him not get 34 fantasy points with 7 or 8 strikeouts. I mean, there's been a few starts this year where he's gotten like 8 strikeouts and gone under this fantasy score, but he also gave up like 4 runs in those starts. I don't think this is a spot where we should expect Giolito to give up like 4 or 5 runs. Maybe Mike Trout hits a home run, maybe Ohtani hits a home run, maybe he gives up 1 or 2 solo home runs, but I think he'll be able to get through this Angels lineup, especially the bottom of that lineup fairly easily. Should be able to rack up some strikeouts. Maybe the White Sox can give him some run support and he can get a win as well. It's possible that happens. So I like this one quite a bit, over 33.5. Pitcher fantasy score for Lucas Giolito is going to be our third and final play for today. I do want to mention one more thing. Giolito has already faced the Angels once this season. He faced them earlier this year on April 29th. He did go 6 innings, allowed 7 hits, 1 walk, got 7 strikeouts. So he got 7 strikeouts last time he faced the Angels. Gave up 3 earned runs and had a quality start. Finished with 34 fantasy points. If he does that today, goes 6 innings, gets 7 strikeouts, gives up 3 runs, that's 34 fantasy points, and I think that's a pretty accurate projection for him. Again, you could take his over 7 strikeouts. I would prefer if that line was at 6.5. It's still fine to play at 7, but I like his fantasy score the most. I'm going to be taking the over 33.5 fantasy score for Lucas Giolito. So what I'm liking for Monday's MLB slate, guys. Again, a 9-game slate tonight. Was able to find 3 props that I liked, taking a first look at the board. I'll take a look at the board again on Monday, find some more props that I like, and I will share those over on Patreon. So if you guys want to check out the Patreon, it's linked down below in the description. I do give out additional Prizepicks plays over there. You can check that out if you're interested. But best of luck tonight, guys. As always, I appreciate you watching these videos. Hit that like button before you do get out of here. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Also, make sure to sign up for Prizepicks and use promo code NOAH. Prizepicks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. But yeah, good luck tonight, guys. Thanks as always for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.